Hello and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk About Art. Hey, so this is another video about the art scene in Brussels. I want to tell you something about some exhibitions that are up right now in Brussels. This weekend was the Independent Art Fair, so there are quite a few guests in town, and most of the galleries use this occasion and this extra exposition for openings. I want to talk about two shows that are up, so let's go! Okay, so the first show is at Damien and the Love Guru. It's called Bonaventura Jannis Marwitzle, and it's a show by the painter Jannis Marwitz. Now, it consists of a number of paintings in the style that Jannis paints in. I find it really intense. Jannis is a friend of mine, and he is quite informed about mythology and art history, and this is something that he also deals with in his paintings. Let me read out the first paragraph of the press release, and then I want to take a look with you at the mentioned painting. The Rebirth of Venus by Jannis Marwitz. When the Roman god Uranus was castrated by his son, his blood gushed into the seas of the earth. The event, violent and tragic as it was, gave way to beauty nonetheless. Uranus' seed mixed with the ocean's foam, and in this union, Venus was born. The legend of the goddess of love's origins inspired a rich array of images and texts, a tradition of poems and paintings which spanned centuries. Okay, so he repainted The Birth of Venus. And when I think of The Birth of Venus, I think of the famous Renaissance painting by Boticelli. The Boticelli painting is part of the famous Ufizzi Gallery in Florence, in Italy. And the Ufizzi Gallery also hosts the famous painting by Boticelli, La Primavera. Aby Warburg's dissertation in 1892 was on these two paintings. And as you probably know, Aby Warburg is one of the inventors of iconology or iconography. And Warburg is from Hamburg, Germany. Also, Jannis has spent a significant time of his life in Hamburg. But Aby Warburg is not the only reference. The exhibition and the press release are full of references, leaving the visitor in some kind of familiar unfamiliarity, because it is kind of unclear what is actually important and what isn't. I want to quote the press release again, and by that end this review in a positive note. However, his painting techniques has its origins in Northern Europe. Marwitz studiously applies thin, translucent layers, creating volume in a manner reminiscent of Jan van Eyck and Hans Memling. Jannis is also a great craftsman, and he knows his way around image traditions and what it means to create an image. And besides its mysticality, it's also a great opportunity to dive into the traditions of paintings without losing touch to the present. Okay, now we will go from Damien and the Love Guru, which is located in Saint-Gilles, to a building in Uccle in Brussels. The Rivoli building. The Rivoli building has a passageway and hosts several art galleries. Its size is quite impressive, and it's definitely worth going to one of their community openings. Also because of the nice restaurants in this area of Brussels. Now, the reason why I mention this building is that this weekend, on Sunday, there is an opening of an exhibition by the Belgian artist Bert Huyck. Bear with me, because the art of Bert Huyck makes me happy. Now, the first pictures of the work of Bert Huyck that I saw were from this exhibition, the Panini series. The artist painted the national flags of all the participants of the Soccer World Cup 2018 and applied the matching Panini stickers onto them. This opens up to me the idea of childish collecting and the idea of finishing a collection. Also, the flags refer to national identities and the differences between cultures. Now, please don't understand me wrong, I am not a nationalist. I support the idea of open borders. But I think it is important when we look at art to also look at the circumstances under which the art was created and the society the artist lived in. Furthermore, the society is what makes a place or a country, and the society is also the author of culture. Let me quote Charles Ashe on that. Museums are places where society tells stories to itself. This is what he wrote in his essay for the Absent Museum show in the Wiels. The Panini series also made me think of Belgian artist Marcel Broodhaas. Here he applied eggshells on the Belgian flag. And here is one of his Atlas panels. Now when I say Atlas panels, this should ring a bell. Abi Warburg. Broodhaas often put things together in groups, like here for example. Bert Hughes likes to do it similar. This show took place in 2017 at Rossi Contemporary in the Rivoli building. Hughes painted soccer jerseys. These paintings have formal similarities to the flags, but they also bring up a more local narrative, like the microcosmos of local soccer teams. It also brings up the idea that a game is always against the other team, but at the same time with the other team. I don't know why, but when I looked at the artworks of Bert Hughes, I had to think of The Simpsons and the rivalry between Springfield and the people of Shelbyville.
When you get right down to it, Springfield's a pretty cool place to live.
Springfield sucks!
Hey, stop talking bad about my town, man.
Why don't you make me?
I don't make trash, I burn it.
And also I had to think of the book Infinite Jest by David Foster Wallace. At the one part where a kid climbs up the ranks of the tennis league because he threatens his opponents that if they don't let him win, he will kill himself. Now the conclusion. You may have realized by now that the sujet of Bert Hughes' paintings is a rather masculine part of European culture, soccer. And also the references that I gave, like The Simpsons and David Foster Wallace, are classic white male middle class references and fields of interest. But I think, and this is what I like about Bert Hughes, is that Bert Hughes doesn't take himself too serious. And I really like the probably coincidental formal similarities to Marcel Broodhaas. I mean, the way how Broodhaas put the eggs on a painting by the Belgian flag is so similar to the way how Bert Hughes puts the Panini stickers on the paintings of the national flags. So this concludes the 2 reviews of the exhibitions that are up right now in Brussels. And maybe you want to have a look what's going on in Brussels, and there's a website where all the off spaces of the city have a calendar together. It's called thewalk.be. On this website you can see what's up in the scene that's in the non-commercial scene and the non-institutionalized scene of Brussels. It's really interesting. I hope you liked this episode. Next time I will talk about the Beaux-Arts or about the Établissement d'Enfance or about La Loge maybe. Well, this was it for me for today. See you soon when it's time again for Let's Talk About Art. When the Roman god Uranus was castrated by his son, his blood gushed into the seas of the earth. The event, violent and tragic as it was, gave way to beauty nonetheless. Uranus' seed mixed with the ocean's foam, and in this union, Venus was born. The legend of the goddess of love's origins inspired a rich array of images and texts. A tradition of poems and paintings which spanned centuries.